The door of the abandoned hut burst open with a violent bang as Aunty Ngozi stormed in, her eyes blazing with pure hatred. In her hands, she clutched a large portrait, Adana's masterpiece, the one she had poured 6 months of her soul into. With a savage scream, Ngozi tore the canvas in half, then again and again, until shreds rained down like broken dreams. She grabbed the clay sculptures and smashed them against the wall, stomped on the delicate sketches, and finally set fire to everything that could burn. Flames licked up the remains of Adana's work of art as Ngozi laughed, a cold, bitter laugh that echoed through the empty hut. But that was only the beginning. What happened next would shake an entire village and prove that no wickedness goes unanswered. In the quiet village of Umuagu in Enugu State, Nigeria, lived a 17-year-old girl named Adana. Her parents had died in a ghastly motor accident when she was just 8, leaving her in the care of her mother's only sister, Aunty Ngozi. To strangers, Ngozi appeared kind for taking in an orphan. But inside their small mud house, the truth was far darker. Adana was gifted beyond words. With nothing more than charcoal sticks, bits of old cloth, bottle caps, crushed flowers for color, and even plain mud, she created art that made people stop and stare. Her portraits looked so real that villagers swore the eyes followed them. Her drawings of village life, children playing under mango trees, women carrying firewood at sunset, old men telling stories by moonlight captured feelings no camera ever could. Children crowded around her every evening just to watch her draw. Elders shook their heads in wonder and said, "This girl's hand is touched by God. One day, the world will know her name." But Aunty Ngozi hated every second of it. Long ago, when Ngozi was young, she too had dreamed of becoming an artist. She had even been offered admission to a prestigious art school in Lagos. But poverty forced her to drop out. Family pressure pushed her into an early marriage that produced no children. Now watching Adana's talent bloom, Ngozi felt every old wound reopen. Instead of pride, she felt burning jealousy. Instead of support, she gave cruelty. From dawn till dusk, Adana worked like a servant. She fetched water from the stream before the sun rose. She swept the compound, pounded yam until her arms ached, washed clothes in the river, cooked, cleaned, and ran errands. Only late at night, when the house was silent, did she dare touch her charcoal. Ngozi would catch her sometimes and explode. "All this useless drawing," she would shout, snatching the paper away. "Who will buy your nonsense? You think art will feed you? You think it will find you a husband? Better learn real work before I throw all this rubbish into the fire." Adana would lower her eyes and whisper, "Yes, Auntie." But the fire in her own heart never died. For 6 long months, Adana worked in complete secrecy on her greatest piece ever, a life-size portrait of her late mother. She built the frame from discarded wood, mixed paints from crushed flowers, berries, and soil. Every stroke carried memories of her mother's laughter, her gentle hands, her bedtime stories. The portrait was so beautiful it seemed to breathe. Adana hid it deep inside an abandoned hut at the edge of the village, telling only her closest friend, Chioma. Hope began to grow. One day, a respected village elder saw one of Adana's small drawings and bought it for 5,000
these
naira, more
drawings
money
are
than Adana had
magnificent.
ever held.
You have a
Word
great
spread
gift.
fast. A primary school teacher pulled her aside and whispered, "There is a national youth art competition coming up. The winner gets 2 million naira, a full university scholarship, and exhibitions in Lagos and Abuja. You could win, Adana. You must enter." That night under the stars, Adana hugged Chioma and said with tears in her eyes, "I feel it, Chioma. This is my chance. My art will take me out of this place. I will study. I will become great. I will make Mama proud." But Aunty Ngozi overheard every word from darkness outside the window. Her fists clenched, her face twisted. The thought of Adana succeeding where she had failed was unbearable. Jealousy turned into something darker, something dangerous. The next morning, a neighbor went into labor and begged Adana to help. Adana left early, promising to return by evening. That was the moment Ngozi had been waiting for. She followed the hidden path to the abandoned hut. When she pushed open the creaky door and saw the magnificent portrait of her late sister staring back at her with kind, forgiving eyes. Something inside Ngozi snapped completely. Rage took over. She grabbed the portrait and ripped it with all her strength. The sound of tearing canvas filled the air as she screamed, "You will never rise above me. Never!" She smashed every clay figure Adana had made. She gathered every sketch, every scrap of paper, and carried them outside. With shaking hands, she struck a match and set the pile ablaze. Flames roared up, consuming years of hidden work in minutes. Ngozi stood watching, her face lit by the fire, laughing through tears of pure hatred. When Adana returned that evening, tired but excited to add final touches to her mother's portrait, she walked straight to her secret place. The moment she saw the ashes scattered on the ground and the burnt fragments blowing in the wind, her heart stopped. She dropped to her knees, hands trembling as she picked up a half-burnt piece the corner of her mother's smile. A cry tore from her throat, raw and broken. Tears poured down her face as she clutched the ashes to her chest and sobbed, "Mama, my work, everything, gone." Aunty Ngozi stepped out from the shadows, arm folded, a cruel smile on her lips. "I saved you from wasting your life," she said coldly. "All that rubbish is finished. Now you can focus on real work like a girl. Art will never put food on your table." Adana looked up at her through tears. "Why, Auntie? Why would you do this to me?" Ngozi's smile vanished. She stepped closer and hissed, "Because you don't deserve it. You think you're better than me with your stupid drawings? I will not let you rise while I stay here in this village." Adana's world shattered that day. For weeks she moved like a ghost. She stopped drawing completely. Her eyes, once bright with dreams, became empty. She did her chores in silence, no longer humming the little songs her mother taught her. Villagers noticed the change and whispered among themselves. "What happened to our Adana?" they asked. "Where is the light in her eyes?" Kioma tried to comfort her. "Please draw again," she begged. "Don't let her win." But Adana only shook her head. "She destroyed everything, Kioma, even Mama's face." The pain felt endless. Then one quiet afternoon, Adana walked alone to her parents' grave at the back of the village church. She sat on the red earth and spoke through tears. "Mama, Papa, she tried to kill everything you left in me. She tried to kill your memory, but I won't let her bury me too." As she stood to leave, her fingers brushed something in her pocket, a tiny folded paper. She pulled it out and unfolded it carefully. It was a small sketch she had done months ago. Her mother's smiling face, the only piece that had somehow escaped the fire because it had been in her dress pocket that day. Adana stared at it for a long time. Fresh tears fell, but this time they were different. Something shifted inside her, a spark reignited. That night, when the house was silent, Adana lit her lantern and took out a fresh piece of paper. Her hands shook at first. Then slowly she began to draw. Stroke by stroke, the pain poured out deeper, stronger, more powerful than before. She worked in complete secret, hiding every new piece even better than before. Days turned into weeks. Adana created in the darkness, fueled by grief and determination. Her new works carried emotions so raw that even she sometimes cried while drawing. One piece especially, a woman rising from flames, face fierce with hope, became her most powerful yet. In her heart, she titled it, "Rise from Ashes." Meanwhile, destiny was moving. A city photographer named Mr. Kunle was traveling through rural areas for a big project on hidden Nigerian talent. One afternoon, he stopped in Umwagu to rest. While drinking palm wine under a tree, he noticed a small drawing hanging proudly on the mud wall of Chioma's family house, a gift Adana had given her friend's little brother long ago. Mr. Kunle stared, stunned. The skill, the emotion, it was world-class. He asked whose work it was. When they told him about Adana, he insisted on meeting her. Kioma led him secretly to where Adana now hid her new pieces. When Mr. Kunle saw the collection, especially Rise from Ashes, his hands trembled. "This is extraordinary," he whispered. "This girl is a genius." Without telling Adana the full plan, he asked permission to photograph her best works. She agreed shyly, still afraid to hope too much. What she didn't know was that Mr. Kunla submitted Rise from Ashes to the National Youth Art Exhibition, the very competition the teacher had mentioned. Weeks passed, then came the day of the national announcement. The entire village gathered around the only radio in the community hall. Adana stood at the back, nervous but trying not to show it. Aunty and Ngozi sat in front, arms crossed, face sour. The presenter's voice crackled through the speaker. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. The winner of this year's National Youth Art Exhibition, recipient of a full scholarship to the University of Lagos Department of Fine Arts, 2 million Naira cash prize, and solo exhibitions in both Lagos and Abuja, is Miss Adana Chukwuma from Umuagu Village, Enugu State. For a second, silence. Then the hall erupted. People screamed, jumped, danced. Women ululated. Men beat drums that appeared from nowhere. Adana was lifted onto shoulders and carried around the village like a queen. Tears streamed down her face, tears of joy this time. News spread like wildfire. Reporters came from Enugu. Her story went viral online. Art galleries called. Sponsors offered support. Overnight, Adana became a national sensation. But the truth always finds light. As celebrations continued, she almost stood up in the middle of the village square and told everyone what Aunty Ngozi had done, how she had destroyed Adana's first masterpiece out of jealousy. One by one, others confirmed that they had suspected something when Adana suddenly stopped drawing. The mood shifted. People turned to look at Ngozi. She tried to deny it at first. "Lies, all lies," she shouted, but her voice shook, her eyes darted. Then an elder spoke. "We have eyes. We saw the ashes. We saw the burnt wood near the old hut." The village turned against her completely. No one greeted her at the market. No one bought from her small provision stall. Mothers warned their children to stay away. Even old friends crossed the street when they saw her coming. Ngosi's world crumbled. Shame ate at her day and night. Her stall closed. Money ran out. Then illness struck, high fever, weakness, constant pain. She lay alone in her house, too proud to beg at first. One rainy evening, weak and desperate, she dragged herself through the mud to the neighbor's house where Adana now stayed. She fell at Adana's feet. "Adana, my daughter. Please," she croaked. "Forgive me. I am dying. Help your auntie. I have nothing left." Adana looked down at the woman who had raised her with cruelty, who had tried to destroy her dreams. For a moment, silence hung heavy. Then Adana spoke, voice calm but firm. "Auntie, you tore my work. You burnt my mother's face. You tried to kill the gift God put inside me. But even from the ashes, He made something more beautiful grow. Your wickedness became my strength." She reached into her bag and pulled out a small envelope containing 50,000 naira. "This is for your medicine. Take it. But from today, I walk my own path. My talent has made room for me, just like the elders always say." Ngozi took the money with shaking hands, tears finally falling. But Adana turned and walked away. Months later, on the grand opening night of her first solo exhibition in Lagos, Adana stood on stage in a beautiful Ankara gown as the curtain pulled back to reveal her winning piece, Rise from Ashes. The crowd gasped, then applauded thunderously. Cameras flashed, important people wiped tears. And far away in Umuagu, Aunty Ngozi sat alone in her dark room, watching the live broadcast on a neighbor's small television. For the first time in years, she cried not from jealousy, but from regret too deep to name. "My brothers and sisters, never let anyone destroy your gift. No matter how wicked they are, no matter how hard they try to bury you, true talent will always rise. Jealousy destroys the jealous person first. Your gift will make a way for you, even through fire." If this story touched your heart the way it touched mine, do 3 things right now before you leave. 1. Hit that like button to spread this message of hope. 2. Drop the word RISE in the comments if you believe talent always wins in the end. 3. Subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss another powerful story like this. Thank you for staying till the very end. You are the real MVPs. More life-changing stories coming soon. Stay blessed.